Leslie gave me a new opening. I hadn't thought about it, but when she said, who else besides me has done, it took me back to 3 weeks ago. I was in the Philippines, and I had an amazing moment of my life. I saw 4 whale sharks. I've been trying to find them, and these are big fish, 60 feet long. And I had a peer learning experience underwater with my dive buddies without talking on how to stay locked on a rock while these big creatures swam by and not getting swept away by the current. But the most amazing experience from that event was with a woman I met on the beach. And it happened about 4 months earlier. I had gone to see whale shark and it didn't work. The whale shark didn't show up, I did. They came later when I was there. But I was sitting on the beach having breakfast and she came along and she said, can I disturb you for a moment? And I said, no. Then I smiled and I said, of course. What's on your mind? She said, well, are you interested in diving? And I said, that's why I'm here. I said, in fact, I'm going to the fun dive shop and as soon as I finish my breakfast and see if I can line up a dive. I said, what do you do? She said, I sell dives. So I said, sit down. So we started talking, and I said, you've got a wonderful job walking on the beach, selling dives to people like me. And she had a tear in her eye. I said, what's wrong? She said, my dream was to be a teacher. So I said, so what happened? And she pointed to her throat, and she had a bit of a swollen throat. She told me her story, and how the week before she was ready to commit suicide. So I said, are you interested in something called peer learning? She said, what is that? So I said, hold on a minute. I went, got some Post-its, and we had a conversation. Some of you will experience today the peer learning that I had with her. And at the end of that, from tears to a beautiful smile. This time I saw her again with her husband, and we had another peer learning trio. And the power of this particular process that you're going to experience today in 2 versions is really life-changing. It can happen pretty quickly. So what I'm here to do in the keynote is really set a tone around what is it, why are we doing it, how are we going to go about it, and then at the end we're going to be looking at the so what. And these 4 questions are critical to the learning. So the 4 boxes up there on the right are a key element of the program that we have today. We're really looking at 4 critical questions, actually 5. The first one we just did, who's here? Then we have, why are we here? What are we going to do? How will we do it? And so what will we do with what we've done? So those are 4 questions that most of us carry around with us. I met a woman a number of years ago when I was working in New York City with the school system, trying to turn the schools from a place that wasn't very secure to a place of learning. And I met Bernice McCarthy, who had been a teacher before and did some what is learning anyway. And she discovered that there are 4 basic learning styles that are fundamental to learning success. There are Y learners who are in the upper right-hand quadrant of this box over here, who are interested in why are we here? What's the purpose? What are the outcomes? What are the deliverables? She calls those type 1 learners. In the right lower green quadrant are the what learners? People who are interested in theory. What do the experts have to say? What's in the book? The lower left-hand quadrant are the type 3 learners who are interested in how. How do we do it? What are the steps? What are the ingredients? And the upper left-hand blue quadrant are the so what learners, experiential learners. That's my learning favorite. How can I take what I've learned and make it mine? How can I adapt it? So it goes from north to concrete, south to abstract, east, reflective, west, active. And it's a pretty powerful framework. And the reason it's important for me, and I think the work that I've done and for us since we're using it today, is that it gives everyone's learning preference a chance to surface. And it challenges us in the other 3 quadrants that's not our preference. So we really can maximize the opportunity of multiple learning styles. So what we're going to be doing today is going around that quadrant, looking at what, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time defining, for me, and for those of us that have been working in action reflection learning, very similar to what Chuck, you've been doing in action learning. We just put reflection in, because reflection is so important to the learning process, but also to differentiate a little bit about our approach. So these are the 4 questions we're going to look at very quickly. And the what. We talk about learning circles. It's hard to get a circle of 2 or 3, but I found the process of peer learning, both at the capital P, capital L, as we're going to experience it today, and small p, small l, which is a broader context of peer learning that includes a lot of different things, just like we did a few minutes ago, learning about who's in the room and what we're doing as a way of learning. So I'm saying it's 2 or more, and that what it is, it's awareness or insight, transformational change. Transactional meaning more behavior, transformational being more attitude and belief systems. Chuck, you hit the word that for me really captivates the essence of why are we doing it. It's really to be able to ask for help, offer help. We all need it, we all want it, but we don't know how to do it. We don't have the right process to be able to ask for help in a way that it doesn't make us feel like we don't know what we're doing. And so often we're in situations, and I think men probably more than women, where we should be asking for help and keep going, trying something, lose a lot of time because we don't. Directions is one of them. And ultimately to be able to offer support and to learn. What I'd like to do is to share with you what we have discovered, and I'd like to ask Isabel just to stand up and smile at everybody, because you're the one who put this together for us, who did a little research many years ago on the underlying principles of action reflection learning. When I met her in 1993, she said, so what is action reflection learning anyway? What are the underlying principles? And I said, Isabel, it's very simple. If you reflect on what you learned, on what you've done, the chances are you're going to learn a little bit more than if you don't. So reflection is a big part of the learning process. And she said, I bet you there's something more to it than that. So she and some colleagues did some research on some of our coaches in LIM, Leadership in Motion, and our sister company in Sweden, Management Institute in Lund, MIL, the exact reverse of the letters, to see what were the underlying principles. So in the few minutes that I have with you, I'd like to introduce these principles to you because they are at the essence of peer learning with the small p and small l, as well as many of them for the big P and big L in terms of what we're focusing on today. So relevance is the first one. If this meeting is important for you, if the purpose, you probably wouldn't be here. Some people show up because they have to. So how can we get those people to feel this is relevant? One of the things that I have been doing with groups, and we do, is say, what is the question that you want answered today? How can you make it relevant for you? And what I'd like for you to do is just take 1 minute right now to write down, either on a Post-it or in your notepad, a question that you hope gets answered for you today.